If you hit chat. Sometimes if you hit chat. Oh,
Are you still deciding, Ariel, between light and no light?
No, I think my battery's actually going out now because really, really bright looks the same as not really bright. And I think it's better though. So whatever I just did, it's working. It's not so bright in my eyes anymore.
it might be a little less bright in daylight too.
Yeah, I feel better now. When I first turned it on, I was like, wow, that's bright. But I think whatever I hit, I'm much happier now.
Ooh, who's got their dinger on? I'm joking.
It's mine. I don't know how to turn it off, actually.
I wouldn't worry about it because you might turn yourself off or something, so just let it ding. It's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So welcome to our attendees. We're just waiting for us to hit the 7:30 mark, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We have about, I don't know, probably 30 seconds. All right, we're ready, ladies? Welcome everybody to Mentor Roundtable. I am Carrie Baucom. I'm filling in for our the mind behind Mentor Roundtable, Matthew Joseph. And this is episode 5 of Mentor Roundtable, and we're going to be talking about lessons learned. So we're saying goodbye to September. I think for me and Melissa, this is our first month in, right? And then for our other educators, I think we're about 2 weeks in to their school year. So we're saying goodbye to September and looking forward to October. So how is everybody doing now that we're heading into October?
I feel pretty good. I think the first week was a transition, but I'm going into I think I'm going into week 4 with the kids, and I feel much more settled than I did back in September, beginning of September.
I just finished my first full week of school. So this past week was the first one. And it's definitely, you can tell the kids need a little more school stamina. By the end of the day, they're like pretty checked out and pretty done. So I'm thinking that as the weeks go on, they'll be a little more comfortable being there from 8 to 3 in the afternoon every single day, like us. And so I do reading in the afternoon, and so it's definitely tough. We're getting there, but it's nice with the weather outside and getting a chance to go out there. So I think that they're going to get in the swing of things a little bit more, and I will too. But first week done, started the second full week here.
I think that, oh, sorry, Mallory. I think that was one of the hardest things for me was like that stamina idea, right? That like you really want to go, you know, full speed ahead. And it's like, it's daunting, the pace that they're ready for, at least initially, right?
Yeah, like they're so much more focused in the morning, and then if like after lunch, they kind of are just totally checked out. And you can kind of tell that they're so excited to be there though, but they're so exhausted at the end of the day. But I'm hoping that that gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
My school has had a really big emphasis on like really getting the kids settled into remote learning. So we actually haven't taught any like concrete curriculum for the first 2 weeks. It was more getting into the routine, getting to know each other, introducing what we were going to be learning about. But this week we're going into curriculum, and the kids have been so good, and they're really getting into it, and they participate and they talk with each other. So I'm very hopeful for the start of real teaching and them really taking in the material. So I'll let you know how that goes next week, but I'm feeling optimistic.
That's good. That's good. Kanisha, you're going into week 2 or ending week 2, right?
Yes, we just finished up week 2, and everyone's been joking about how it feels like it's been longer. That's probably the biggest takeaway. Like the first 5 days, we did like it was sort of a like social emotional type of thing. So we didn't, we had like an extended homeroom for the first hour, and we were supposed to do like all these exercises with them, like breathing exercises and things. But my students are in 10th grade, so they were pretty much just over it. They were like not having it. So I kind of just let them like be on their phones and stuff. I feel like the intention was good, but I think it threw things off a little bit more than they would have wanted or expected. So it just pushed like getting into a routine further back. And my students are like, they're very much used to handing in work physically. So they're having to get used to submitting assignments via Canvas every day. And that's been like the most challenging thing, because they'll do the work in class, but then they'll just forget to submit it. And we can't accept like physical work. So that's been the biggest thing, is like, okay, like I don't want to like hand out a bunch of zeros, you guys, like turn your work in. So there's a lot of back and forth and submit your work. And then I was trying to figure out like how to navigate accepting late work, and I'm asking all of my Twitter friends to help, which was very helpful, because, you know, I wanted obviously to accept their work, but I just didn't know what the best policy was on that or how long. And everyone honestly has a different approach, is what I learned. But I figured out something that's working. So just trying to get into the routine is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I agree. Routine, there's something really powerful about routine, right? For the students and for us. Yeah. Jacqueline, it's good to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
So what week are you on?
We're going into our 4th week.
Okay.
So we're hybrid, and like, I know this is probably not PC to say, but I just wish we could see them in class every day. Hybrid is killing me. So it's just been like a lot, and it's not even the content or like, you know, talking to kids or grading or it's the logistics of handling Google Classroom and like scheduling assignments and ensuring that, you know, the assignments go out to specific groups of kids, because some of our kids, it'll be due on a Thursday, the other kids, it'll be due on a Friday. So like you have to also manage that. And then, you know, we were using Pear Deck and another app. I feel like there's like just too many apps happening. So like that's something that like I've really been trying to like navigate too, because in middle school you work on a team. So that's very new concept to me. So I don't always have my hand in like what we're dishing out to the kids, which has been awesome. Like it's been great to be able to lean on people, but it's been it's been rough when I'm getting the angry emails about something, you know, a username not working, or, you know, the kids are really confused about the directions on something. And, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm getting accurate, you know, feedback on what the kids know, not so much like how they know how to do the assignments. So that's where I'm really struggling too. But it's just a lot of the logistical things, you know, again, like the username, the posting on Google Classroom. If I could just see the kids all the time, I would be really happy, because otherwise it's great. Seeing the kids in person is amazing, and they're so good with their masks and socially distancing, and, you know, they're super appropriate, and everyone's very respectful. It's been amazing. But yeah, so.
Yeah, there's talk in my district about we're revving up for hybrid, and I can feel that the tension build in, like, even me not knowing where we're going to go, but even especially my gen ed peers, like it's a lot. And I just talking to some of my friends in the building, they feel the same way you do. It's a lot for teachers and for the teachers, you know, managing it all.
Well, and the students, I don't think also have a grasp on doing both.
Yeah.
And so that's also been a struggle. So like, I think, you know, we were of the mindset that there were certain things that we could get through, and I don't think we're anywhere near what we thought we could get through, and which is fine. And that's like one of my like takeaways from September is like, we need to chill out, and it's okay that we need to chill out, because there's nothing wrong. Like, you know, I'm all about that, you know, inch wide and a mile deep. Like, if I can get you to understand, you know, the skills on 2 stories versus 4 stories, let's do that. You know, I'd much rather do that. And it's, but, you know, obviously people have been doing things for so long, and I knew that, you know, I'm just trying to kind of navigate that pacing too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positive. The more I watch, I think there's a lot of positive things that are going to come out from this whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see things play out. Like Kanisha said, you know, talking about late policies and things like that. And I think some it's going to force teachers to reflect on just their whole teaching practice as a whole, just a little bit different, with a little bit more with a bigger dose of understanding from where our students are coming from too. Yeah. And then also, I think, like, listening to everybody too, just, you know, taking more attention to self-care and giving ourselves grace is like a huge, I know for me, that's a huge thing that's happening in my own world, you know. Melissa, how is your world going? You were voting on Spirit Week last week, right?
Yeah, we have Spirit Week starting tomorrow. So we're fully virtual all year. We are on week 6. Logistics is a nightmare because we use Canvas. So try having 7 and 8-year-olds trying to submit work, and all I can do is laugh. And the parents are laughing, saying, "Thank you so much for being so patient." I'm like, you do what you can do. Because the high school, it's grades. For us in elementary, it's attendance. And if they're on Zoom, then they're there. I don't go by, you know, what they can do on those assignments, because I know their parents are helping them, which is what I want them to do.
Right.
So, but for me, I start small groups. The nightmare was trying to schedule math groups, reading groups, the kids who need more multiple times. Then I teach gifted too. So having that time in there and having a little bit of time for me to eat was an issue. And then I always have my lunch bunch on Fridays, so I make time for that. So the groups will start next week. I've been assessing for the last 2 weeks, which is not fun.
No.
It's good to see what the kids can do, but it's just not fun. So Spirit Week will be fun this week coming up. And then I scheduled a meteorologist for our Zoom because we're starting weather. So that'll be fun. And I have a mystery Zoom every Friday. So it works out. This one's on Thursday, but it didn't matter. I wanted a meteorologist to come before we started our weather. So that'll be fun. And then I'm just trying to find fun things to do for morning Zooms, because I hate just getting together, reading a book, and that's it. So like games and things like that we can do as a family. So, but yeah, the full virtual is, I mean, it's going great and I really like it. And the kids are amazing. The parents are even more amazing. It's just so many more unknowns. Like, how am I going to do reading? I am against round robin. So what am I going to do? They can't see the book if they're in a breakout room. So what do I do? You know, it's all these questions. They're little kids. It's not like high school where they go off and read a book. So it's going to be a lot of experimental.
Yeah.
I'm going to see and try things and see what happens. But
That's good. No, and lucky that we'll all be here together so we can learn from each other too, because I'm sure many of us will have the same questions once we get to that moment in our time, right?
Yeah, it's funny, Melissa, that you're saying that like the first couple of weeks you were figuring things out and now it's really getting real and you have some concerns and some questions. An issue that I'm having is that birthdays are different and I'm a celebrating type of person. I want to celebrate birthdays, but they can't bring in food. I don't think we're still working out those kinks about if the food is individually wrapped, and I'm not sure if I bring it in. But fortunately, my birthday's first out of our class. So I think I'll work through some of the what do we do's and how do we celebrate and how do we still make the children feel special. So I decided that I'll have a secret reader that's coming over Zoom. My birthday's next on this upcoming Friday. My secret reader is going to be my mom. So if that goes well, then I saw it actually on Twitter. I saw that from someone. And it was cute. You let the kids guess. I played a little guessing game, like guess who it is. You can ask yes or no questions. And then if it goes well, then that may be something that I do too. I can send a letter home a week in advance and invite a family member or a special adult, anyone that they love and that they would want to possibly either come over Zoom, or if the family feels better about recording in advance, I can watch it in advance, which I think I would like more. And just trying to make birthdays feel as normal as possible, but without the food and the birthday cake and the blowing out the candles. And
another thing that we do that I'm full. I mean, I don't even when I forget who it was, might have been Jacqueline, said that she really, I don't know, it might have been you. I don't know who it was, but said you're sick of the hybrid, you want to see them. I'm like that every single day. It's like my fingers on a chalkboard. I just want to see them just real quick for like that split second. But what I was going to say is we use Flipgrid. I send it to all the kids and they sing happy birthday.
Oh, I love that.
I do it and use a Snapchat filter. So I might look like a pumpkin or a cat or something crazy. And I sing happy birthday. And then they have that keepsake all year long.
I love that. We're one-to-one, but we don't have Chromebooks yet. So we will be one-to-one, but I'm face-to-face every day with my students, no virtual students. But I do love the idea of Flipgrid for when they're home. I can make it like a take-home or homework assignment for over the couple of days and leading up to the birthday, because then they can have it and save it. And there's a couple of special moments and milestones that I'm really missing. I mean, things that you don't think about when we came back to school, like birthdays. I never thought, how will I celebrate a birthday? And for some reason, walking in the hallways does not feel the same. And I'm really missing chatter. I'm missing turning and talking a lot. I'm missing a rug so badly. I did not realize how much I would miss having a rug in my classroom. But all these things we're working out and figuring out, but I love the Flipgrid idea. So thank you. And I saw Tracy just put that in the chat too. So I will absolutely report back.
I'm not virtual, but you could be virtual at any moment in time.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
So
and I do want to make sure that anything celebratory that I do for one student is the same for every student, whether we're virtual or not. So it's a great idea. I'll let you all know next Sunday how it goes. I'm very excited.
For my in-person kids, we've already had like 4 or 5 birthdays in our class. We have so many September babies, and parents, they are allowing us to have the kids go home with something. So they could have like fruit snacks or like a goldfish packet or like something like that to go home with the kids. So they can't eat it in school, but you can like send something in for the child to hand out to the class, and then we just like give them little stickers and we'll sing happy birthday outside and stuff together, which is fun. But it's definitely tough, but we can send home like individually packaged, which makes it kind of cute if you can do that in your school.
I feel like a goodie bag.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the Flipgrid, because then it is like a internalized, digital birthday card kind of, that's a fun idea. Yaritza, hello.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm tired.
How was the historical superheroes project going?
Oh my God. So they've been submitting them in. I've been listening to a few and it's like so awesome. I've given kids the option of, well, I created like the how-to video of how to screen share. So most of my students who use Google Slideshow, I showed them two ways. They could either upload it slide by slide and press play and create their own video on Flipgrid, or they could just screen share and just record themselves actually doing a presentation. And we've had other students just upload pictures and literally like tell a story, because the second part of the project is the comic book itself. So if you would create a comic book, who would be the characters, where's the setting, and they're having tons of fun with it. It's due tomorrow, so I'll be grading tomorrow, and then I'll be sharing it with all of you guys on Twitter.
Fun. And how are you holding up? You went virtual at the last minute, right?
Yep. Our students are supposed to come back October 1st. If you ask me, I doubt that they're going to come back. So they're supposed to come back October 1st, and then we just received an email yesterday. I believe it was like at 10 o'clock at night from the UFT, basically stating that if there's a worker inside of the school building and there's no students there, they can work virtually. So from my knowledge, if there's no students there until October 1st, I should be able to stay home. But then they sent us an email this morning and said that that takes effect October 5th. So teachers still have to be in the building, even though our students are not allowed into the building until October 1st. So it's kind of weird, because at least most people already know what to expect from their districts. And in New York, it's almost like, we're literally living it day by day, which is it's absurd, especially for students who want to be back in the building. I've been telling you guys about the pantry. We're full virtual with the pantry now, so students are now able to shop through our website online, and it's like they have a shopping cart, they add items, but we have to meet them outside. They can't come inside of the school to get their food or anything like that, and they still can't wash clothes. So that's the update.
So baby steps. That's tough.
Yeah. Baby steps. And most of our students, they can't take it. It's the reality. Some adults, we can't even take it, the last minute changes. And for students, we are their family. So it's almost like, you're keeping us away from the people that we know most. So this is hard, definitely.
Yeah. Mallory, do we hear from you? You were going to take last week's opportunity for no curriculum to do some diversity work and children's books. How did that go?
It went really well, actually. So I'm trying to remember exactly what we did. So usually we used our read aloud every day to do it, but I also just started doing, so my best friend from home was telling me about this website that she just gets emails from for fun that like tells you the national holiday every day.
Oh.
We've been incorporating that into morning meeting, and this week actually one of the days was World Bollywood Day, and I was like, wow, that fits in with our theme of diversity and celebrating. So we like watched a video of like Bollywood dance, and we read Don't Touch My Hair and like a book that's called Happy in Our Skin, and did a couple other projects about it. And I do have a bit of diversity in my class. It's like not super diverse, but not completely one race. So kids actually had a lot of different perspectives on it and a lot to say for 8-year-olds. And so it was really awesome.
That sounds great. That's awesome. It's a great start for the school year, right? At least to open up conversations and know that your classroom is a safe place for all kinds of thoughts and feelings about things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially since we haven't gotten into curriculum yet, I felt like it was the perfect time to take a week that we have to basically do anything we want and do that, so that we can keep incorporating it as we move into themes and lessons and things.
Awesome. That is awesome. And it really creates a safe place too. I think anytime we have an opportunity to have those conversations with our students and let them know that we are open to those conversations, then it offers an opportunity for future conversations and just future feelings about anything, right?
Yeah, it's so important.
That's awesome. So what are we looking forward to in October? So we're be 2 weeks in, where some of us are getting well into our routines. what are we looking forward to? Maybe more of the unknown. I'm not sure we're looking forward to that, right? Yaritza? More decisions, greater decisions, faster decisions.
You know, it's sad to say, but I'm just like looking forward to like a whole calamity. I just want everyone to like realize like this is not working. Let's just try this again in January. I'm giving them to January because this right here is just not working. I would rather them just say, let's go full virtual. You know, it'll also give teachers a chance to get themselves together because we're in two places at once. We still have some students who at my school we have rolling entry. So up until October 31st, I'm still getting new students. So could you imagine just you're a new student, which means you're 2 weeks behind. You haven't done a project. You don't know any of the teachers because you've never met us before. And so it's difficult times for sure. So I'm expecting a calamity. I'm preparing for the worst.
Well, and I have to say, I appreciate your voice and how honest you are about just reminding us, you know, I think I forget my students are in person with me half days, and that's a privilege, right? And also just a great reminder to us that we really are important to our students, you know, and that at least a consistent decision is important, but also that we are family, they are our family, and we, you know, we provide such an important, as educators, we provide such an important place for them in our classrooms every day. It's really important work that we do, right?
Right. And also they feed off of our frustrations, you know? So like even if I'm frustrated, which is like 90% of the time when I'm at work because no one ever has like a straight answer to give me, I have to keep in mind that I'm about to go live with a group of students and I don't know exactly what they're dealing with at home, even though I may know, you know, you're in a shelter or you have 5 other siblings that you're taking care of while your mom's at work. I really don't know how they woke up that morning. And so even if I have to force myself to smile, I'm smiling. I'm smiling, I'm playing music, I'm joking around, I always crack jokes. I'm always making some kind of Flipgrid hip hop video type thing. But because the reality is we don't know what they're going through. And if we're frustrated, it's 10 times on them, you know? So just with every chance we get, we have to allow kids to be kids, which means we should not be so much frustrated when they're around.
Agreed. It's a lot to push some things aside. Agreed.
Yeah.
So what are we looking forward to? Yaritza is looking forward to a decision of consistency. I'm joking. And not joking. What is everybody else looking forward to? And some of us are settled well into a routine. What are we looking forward to in October?
I would say,
go ahead.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You want to go or you go first? I'll go next.
I was just gonna say that, like, well, I'm hoping, which it's funny to even say this, but I would say I'm hoping for stability, or at least somewhat, and more so for my students than for me, because I feel like I can take, you know, everything that's happening, but for them it is a lot because at my school, you know, we've been in for like 10 days, and our principal said that every day of school we've been out. We've not had like at least 5 to 10 teachers for whatever reason. So some teachers have, you know, quit, some are sick, there's been teachers who just walked out. And my students asked me on Friday, they were like, are you gonna quit on us? And I was like, no. I was like, I just started. And they were like, yeah, and now you have us. And I was like, so we should know you're wearing me out. But I was just like, man, that must be tough to like come into school every day and not know at any given moment if your teacher's gonna be there, if you're gonna have a teacher, or like what the situation is gonna be. And so, you know, I feel like it, and I'm not obviously like blaming them or saying anything negative. Everyone's situation is different and they all have their reasons. But I just wish that it was a little bit more stable for them, because, you know, ultimately they still have to learn and they still have to, you know, get to the next grade and they still have to get through this. So I just hope that it just kind of, you know, stabilizes a little bit, just that things are more, just more functional for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Jacqueline,
Yeah,
what about you?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I would definitely piggyback off of what Kanisha said. I think the stability is a huge issue with students because, again, this is all very new for them. And I think like when things don't work on our end, like like a program doesn't work the way that we think it's going to work, or, whatever, like there's just a lot of frustration, and it's no one's fault. It just is what it is. And so, so I do look forward to that too, that we like establish the programs that work the best, that give us the best feedback on, formatively and things like that. Another thing that I'm really looking forward to, and, I'm someone who really tries to stay away from toxic positivity, because I think that is something that is going to drain this profession. I appreciate that there are teachers who like post on Instagram a lot, and they post, what their classroom looks like and things like that. But a lot of us can't do that right now. And so I think it just makes us feel like even more pressure than we need to, and unnecessary pressure. But I will say that I am really grateful that my kids are happy. They love being in class. And I just really want to continue on that journey with them. We're all trying to make it as awesome as we can. And I really try to, and I'm not on the same pace necessarily with all of my teammates, but like I've really tried to like find moments of just levity and fun. And the kids, they did a check-in this past week, and that's what they love about my class. It's not so much, language arts. It's just that we are taking it slow, and I check in with them, and, we talk about, for some reason we've been talking about food a lot. I don't know why, but it's just been kind of a focus for a lot of our conversations. Last week we got into a debate over whether hot chocolate is just warmed up chocolate milk. And we it was a full on battle with my 8th graders, right? These are 8th graders. And so, but it ended up being this amazing conversation. They used evidence. They were looking things up online. It was all the skills that you want them to use as a language arts teacher. It was incredible. But at the same time, then they created their own Flipgrid video on, what side they were on. And it was this, organic moment, and it was just fun, and it wasn't tied to any story that we were reading, but it used all the skills that we need to. And it was awesome. And, I lost the battle. I say that they are two different things, and the kids do not agree with me. Everyone in my life that I asked says that they are two different things. The kids believe that they are the same. So, but then they said that hot cider and apple juice are two totally different things. And I was like, we're talking about the same concept, you guys. But yeah, so it ended up being just like a really fun moment. And, it just kind of, I feel like this year I've really come back to why I fell in love with teaching in the first place, because I felt very jaded going into admin. And, I wish, some of our admin were here to kind of like, be like, you're crazy. But I was just very jaded going into that. And being back in the classroom with the kids has just been the best experience ever. And I'm just really happy that I'm there again. So.
Well, and I especially love, I wonder, how I keep saying, tonight, I feel like I keep saying that I feel like there's new things that are going to come out, new empowerments, new ways of thinking about teaching. Try to think a little more positively about this all, but I wonder, just what you said, you didn't feel so drawn to the curriculum in that moment. And so you really you riffed off your students, you went with what they were interested in, you really let that drive the learning, and how powerful that is to have just a little bit more flexibility, because we are so much more student emotional centered and checking in centered, that you all of a sudden had an opportunity to divert from the curriculum, but then also do equally as well as good teaching, if not better, because you were going with what the students were interested in. And that's really, and that is, I agree with you. Those moments are what remind us to our core, this is why I love to teach this right here, this moment, right? And that's so exciting.
Like I go home every day. I was just telling I was out to dinner with my family this weekend and I literally said, I go home every day and I am just so happy. I'm like, that was such a great day. And I have not felt that in years.
I
And
couldn't agree.
I don't know.
Jackie. I feel the exact same way as you. As hard as this year is, I go home every day feeling so fulfilled.
100%.
Yep, because like you said, it's getting us back to the core of why we teach, because we teach for these kids and they need us. And everything that you just said, I'm like, yes, 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 I agree with it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Again, like I'm really trying hard not to let the logistics of it all like bog me down. Cause like Kanisha just wrote in the chat, you know, I hope more teachers loosen up. And I can't agree more. Like I get so frustrated in our team meetings because it sometimes becomes a place of negativity. And I am just really trying hard not to do that because it's just, you know, I want the kids to know that like this should be fun, and it's not going to be fun if we're so stressed out all the time. And it's not our fault if we're stressed out. It's just, you know, there's moments where we can, you know, just continue to be happy, you know.
Well, it's kind of what Yaritza reminded us of too, right? Like it's hard on all of us. At some point, we all have to get over that it's going to be hard. So it's either going to be hard and we're going to dwell on it, or it's going to be hard and we're going to push it back for the students just a little bit, you know, so that we can keep moving forward and being there for them and being, you know, the best for them. I think that's important. So Molly and Emily, what are you guys looking forward to? Have you got your lesson plans all set up for the week? I know the first years sometimes have to submit depending on the principal. So are you all set with what you're doing for next week?
Yes. So I'm really lucky. I have an amazing co-teacher who has been teaching for many years, but she's super open. So like I bring my ideas that I've taken from college and like from learning so many new things, and she has the core of like what she's been doing for all these years. So we have been planning together really well, and we don't have our lesson plans planned for the whole week. We very much take it day by day depending on what happens. On Monday morning, we'll see what we need to do Tuesday morning, and usually that would stress me out a lot, but I think it's almost more stressful to think that I would have the whole week planned, and then sometimes you just do these things, especially virtually, that you think it's going to take 20 minutes and it takes an hour and a half, or you planned it to take an hour and it only takes 30 minutes. So learning as we go and figuring that out is really exciting. And my kids are supposed to come in person in October, so we're supposed to move to hybrid at the end of the month. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about it because we had a material pickup this week and I got to see their faces for the first time and like talk to them a little bit, which was awesome. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, I'm 2 weeks in, I'm finally starting to feel comfortable with this virtual routine. In 2 more weeks, I'm gonna feel like an expert, and then I'm gonna start all over again with being hybrid. So it's a year of going with the flow and taking it day by day, which strays from how I normally am, but I'm surprisingly okay with it.
Well, and what a gift for you, because I remember, like, was it 2 weeks ago we were teasing you about you checking your email all the time, and then now you're saying, I'm going with the flow.
I feel like I flipped the switch.
You know.
I feel like Molly and I have kind of switched lives a little bit.
She has her plans ready till like November, and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing on Wednesday.
Well, the reason for that is because I am an ELA teacher and we're doing team teaching. So I have 2 veteran teachers who are fantastic, and one of them happens to be my mentor. So I've been working with her a lot, and they're very helpful. They're so great. But our school started a brand new reading program called Interreading, and it's a basal, and so it's very scripted, and we had to start on Monday to keep up with our scope and sequence, and it's like our first full day, and that has been stressing me out a little bit because I want to do all these fun things and I want to have time for SEL, and like we have 30 minutes of time with my group before I have to go to my other classroom to teach them the same lesson. And I think having this basal, like, and all our lesson plans were super, like, we made them 2 weeks ago. Like, we went through everything, and I was even telling Molly, I was like, man, like, we made these lesson plans like 2 weeks ago, and like we're so far ahead. But like, that's just something that, and I'm not like that. I'm not a planner, and like I'm much more of a let's see what we need to do tomorrow. And So it's definitely been really hard for me, like planning out so far in advance and being so scripted. And I'm not really sure how I feel about it. It's nice and like there's pros and cons for both of it, but I feel like this week I really want to try to find time, and I'm like looking up some games and some different things to do during morning meetings. So I do have like 30 to 45 minutes of like morning meeting in the morning, which is really cool with my virtual kids. For them to get to know each other. Like, we need way more time to get to know each other, and the kids have been saying that too. They're like, wow, we're finally getting to know one another, and it's so cute. And so I'm trying to work that in while also having a very scripted lesson that I need to be following. So that's been tough, but I'm excited for this week to try to work some of that in. That's going to be my focus.
Yeah, I, as you know, we use a lot of direct instruction in special education, and the first year is always the hardest because you really have to be true and honor the script, right? But I would say that there's power in that script. I mean, it's research-based and it's driven by that. And the more you do, the more years you do it, the more freedom you'll start to feel, because you'll know you're kind of, you know, comes and goes, but it'll give you a good foundation of what some really good teaching strategies are going to be for reading as well. But Molly, I was going to say, I'm just excited that your co-teacher is so flexible, you know, because that's a wonderful gift that she's giving you. You know, I know in special education, we often don't plan more than a day because we want to see what they're getting through. But I know gen ed teachers, you guys are often driven by the curriculum, and it's go, 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 go. And it can be really hard. But what a wonderful opportunity to have to kind of feel that experience of, yes, we can get through some things, but yes, there's also there's validity and power in going at the student's pace too, right?
I am so lucky. And some of you may know this, but some of you may not. I got moved to a different school in a different grade 6 days before school started, which was crazy. And getting to work with my co-teacher now and being in this grade, like, I just am so lucky. Like, I totally lucked out so much, and I couldn't be happier that everything happened the way it did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ariel or Melissa or Yuritsa, what are we looking forward to for October?
Well, I just have to agree with what Molly just said. I was also moved this summer, and I just got a new job. I've always only taught secondary before, and teaching something that I have a license in but not experience was very daunting to me. But I feel the same way as you, Molly. I couldn't be happier this year, and everything really does happen for a reason. I'm on an incredibly supportive team of dynamic teachers from varied perspectives. They range from brand new to the field, been there just 2 years, all the way to about to retire. So I just feel like I'm learning so much this year. So I'm looking forward to, over the next month, just continuing to establish our routines and just learn the way the flow of the classroom is working. And I'm seeing really big changes in my students from the first day of school until now. And they're very receptive and they're very excited, and it feels like a classroom again. And not that it didn't, but the first couple of days of school were scary for all of us. And I'm trying to, like we all were talking about, you're managing, I'm face-to-face, I have no virtual students. So I'm managing COVID precautions, teaching something I have no experience in except for student teaching, and dealing with now having a co-teacher for the first time and getting the kids back to the classroom. I feel really good. I definitely feel like there are absolutely bumps, there's challenges, there's setbacks, but I go home so happy every day because the kids are so happy. And that's my why every single day. The kids are beyond thrilled to be there. And like, I'm just reading the chat, and we have a lot of, I struggle a lot, like we all do, with imposter syndrome. I always feel like, am I doing the right thing? Because we're perfectionists, we're good teachers. We care. And I think a lot of caring teachers have that imposter syndrome or that doubt. And I used to go home and be like, did I do enough? And I'm finally now going into week 4 saying I'm doing the best that I can do for these kids. And they're doing the best that they can do every day coming in. And if we have a day that I didn't get through a lesson, that's okay. And it's taking me a couple of weeks to figure that out. Like the other day, we went out, we have a courtyard in the middle of our building. It's a beautiful courtyard. We have to sign up for it. And it's only once every 6 days. And we were so into doing what we were doing in the classroom that we were about to miss our courtyard time. And part of me was like, but I want them to get outside. I want them to experience. But the magic was happening in the room. So we got out. But I was like, I can't be like this with the schedule and the routine, because they were so into what we were doing that I don't want to pull them away from that, because I don't know if these kids felt this when we were virtual in the spring. I don't know if they were excited about learning. So I'm working out a lot of the setbacks and the challenges in my own head, but just realizing that, like you said, Molly, I'm not planning 5 days in advance. I have an idea, I have a rough idea, but I'm going every single day as a new day. And getting that through my head has helped me get through the days that if I need to change my plans the morning of, then so be it. That's what I do, because we're all doing it and we're all learning.
That makes me that's such a fun perspective. I go back to, again, gen ed teachers are so driven by the curriculum. This must be so freeing to have that permission to kind of feel like that too, but also that makes me really, really happy, because I also feel like that's something that general education teachers have needed permission for a long time to be able to do, to not let the curriculum drive the learning, but let the learning drive the curriculum, So that's awesome. So Melissa or Yuritsa, I think, Kanisha, I don't know if you mentioned what you were looking forward to. You talked about something different, I think. What are we looking forward to in October?
Well, I talked about just being hopeful for stability.
Yes, you did. I'm sorry. Melissa?
Okay, that's me.
I'm going to pick on you.
What?
I'm going to pick on you.
Oh, I am looking forward to actually teaching and making some memories with my kids, because all I've done for the last 2 weeks is assess, and it's driving me bonkers. I'm excited to start our Genius Hour projects. I'm excited to do Zoom every Friday with different guests, and we have talked about Class Kick, and we've experimented and played around, so the kids are ready to mystery Zoom with classes and people, which should be lots of fun. That should be interesting. Yeah, I'm just excited to get to know them as learners and help them as much as I can, but to have fun. In this profession, we can't worry about this standard and this trimester map. It should be about the kids. And this is frustrating for me in my district, because a lot of emphasis is focused on this trimester map and these standards. And what I want to say is, you need to look at each of my 25 kids, because they have a name, and it's not 5.2 blah 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 blah. It's so and so. So I want to reach every child where they are and see that progression and have them feel successful. That's my goal, to have fun and know that they're loved no matter what. So
that's awesome.
What I'm looking forward to.
That's awesome.
Is my go?
It is.
So I'm looking forward to finally seeing my students in person, but if not, more live sessions. I've been having a lot more live sessions, and like I shared with you guys before, the help desk that I created for students in my Google Classroom is like the bomb, because we get out of school at 2:15, but it allows students now to send me messages through Flipgrid. So it's like, hey, Ms. V, I need help with whatever. And I've been getting some like random questions that I can't even help with, but I'm just like, maybe that's just their way of reaching out. So it's perfect, because they get to see my face when I respond, but I'm also able to see their face as they ask questions. And I'm also looking forward to Ask Yuritsa. Now I collaborated with Flipgrid, and so I'm now helping even more teachers, not just the teachers at my school, all in New York. I'll be helping teachers internationally with actually embedding culturally responsive teaching in their classroom. So I am so looking forward to this. This is going to be an epic year. And yeah, let's have some fun.
Very exciting. I think we were all really super excited as a whole table when we got to hear that news. And I knew you said that you were like, you had to keep it a secret for so long, and you finally get to share it with everybody. It's that's wonderful. We're all excited.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I think we've reached our 45-minute mark for Mentor Roundtable episode 5. And it was wonderful hearing about what, I think this was just a great conversation full of insight and ideas and lots of emotion and feelings, but also, a great reminder of why we all really love teaching, and how really passionate each of us are for why we go to school or why we work with our students every day. So thank you to all of our attendees for being here today, those who are joining us live and those who are tuning in later. You can catch us here every Sunday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for Mentor Roundtable, and we'll see you next week.